Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Ray. Welcome to post 19 of this 30-day exploration of your potential, of alchemy and potential. So, how's everybody doing? I hope you're well. I'm very curious to hear how this process has been for you and what you've discovered, what you're discovering, what you're remembering. And yeah, as always, looking forward to hearing your feedback. Today, I felt inspired, guided to look at something that was related to yesterday's post on the limits of rational thinking. Today I'm going to look at the limits of being an adult. Now, again, we're all having a very unique experience, so I'm not generalizing. And I'm talking perhaps from personal experience above all. But as an adult, we tend to become a lot more serious and take on a lot of responsibility. There are a lot of pressures. There are things like paying bills and looking after family and working. And all of these things that we learn are important in life in a sort of very conditioned way of what is expected of us as adults. And I know, speaking from personal experience, that playfulness and that ability to be curious and to go with the flow in a way that a child would, we lose that at a very early age, or at least I did. And I did even more so because of the stress that I was experiencing from a very early age. I learned to be serious, I learned to be responsible, I learned to be hardworking, and I learned that play was something that you did after everything else was done. That's quite sad, isn't it? But yeah, and I'm feeling very guided to reconnect to that. And I've understood over the years, because this isn't the first time that I've felt invited to explore that more deeply, I've understood it's not something you can force. And you certainly can't force it if you're experiencing stress. You don't feel safe to explore, be curious, and use your time, that precious time, that commodity we have that is, we think there's a lack of in some way, to use your time to be playful, to do things without any particular goal or need to achieve or to produce, be productive, be useful, okay? Using your time for pure pleasure and exploration, okay? So first of all, you have to feel safe. And then there's also that disconnect that we have as adults, perhaps, from that natural curiosity of using your time, investing your time and your energy in something that you really feel called to, just for the sake of it, because you feel like it. And I feel that energetically, this is because, or one of the reasons is because from a very early age we're conditioned to repress our natural urges, our natural likes, our natural tendencies, and to give ourselves to these. And we get taught to redirect our attention and to focus on things that are much more serious and productive, like going to school, passing exams, and whatever it is. Again, our experiences are going to be very different. Energetically speaking, this is very much to do with the second energy chakra, okay, that lower belly. This is all about creativity, creative expression. And with that is authenticity, what it is you really like, and feeling, first of all, safe. Is it safe to be me? Is it safe to like what I like? Is it safe to pursue that? And do I feel connected enough to what it is I like? Do I remember what it is I like? Okay? And to be able to give yourself permission to follow that natural urge if it still lives within you. And that's what I've been remembering and rediscovering as I've reconnected and found safety within who I am, and learnt more and more about who I am at my core, and I've established and I'm able to hold healthy boundaries and to choose myself more and more, created more space to reconnect for that second chakra energy to really come back into my being, to feel safe in following that feeling, or at least to be curious. And what I felt guided to talk about today was to reconnect with what it was that you really loved as a kid. Okay, what was it that you did naturally without thinking about it? What is it perhaps that you've forgotten, long forgotten, and put aside? Perhaps because it was just a childhood dream or childlike and not serious enough to carry through into your adult life. There are many ways that we can rationalize why we don't give our time and energy to something that we once loved. For me, it's painting, it's art. That's all I did as a kid, that and horse riding. And I went off to Botswana and worked with horses, and I spent a lot of time working with horses when I was younger. And then I went off to work, I went to university and to work, and I forgot about all of that. And there was a point after Botswana when I decided that I would take myself down to the south of Spain and set up a studio and paint. And I did that for 2 years, and I even held a few exhibitions, and I produced some nice work. But did I enjoy it? That's the question. And the answer is not really, because what I did, or what I'd learned to do, I'd been conditioned to do, and I was a very good student. I knew how to follow the rules and to try and fit in, but it felt like a job. I approached art as if it were a job. And that's what I connected to this morning as well. I realized that in an adult way, I'd learned to place life in a series of blocks, nice linear blocks. This is what I have to do. And the thing I like and would love to do is right at the end. So in order to get to the bit that I like and give myself, the treat, the reward at the end of the day, is first I have to do all of these things that are expected of me or that I need to get out the way. When as a kid it was homework. And as an adult, there are so many things that you need to get out of the way, rationally speaking, before you can get to the bit that you think you like. And by the time you get there, the chances are you don't feel motivated because there's no natural no natural inclination that you're following. It's become just another task on the list of things to do. And you're probably tired and worn out. And whether it's the evening or the weekend, those times that we give ourselves for a bit more relaxation and pursuits, pleasure, that kind of thing, we're too tired to really enjoy it. And there's a mechanism again inside that says you can do that when. It's like postponing your happiness. I'll do the happy bit when I've done the other stuff, or I'll be happy when. And it's shifting that, first of all, internally to say, I give myself permission and I prioritize myself and what it is that brings me joy. Okay? So it's an interesting thing to consider. Okay? And why not just bring your awareness down into the second chakra, so that area, the lower belly, and again you're dropping into awareness. If you weren't already there, you may be finding that more and more natural to be present in your body, and you're bringing your awareness down into the second chakra. You're there with curiosity. What does it feel like? What can you sense? Is there an aliveness? Does it feel grounded? Are you feeling relaxed in the area of your pelvis, your hips, that lower belly? Do you feel safe in your body, in this moment, in yourself? And connecting to that second energy center. Just be curious about what it is you feel. And again, there's no right or wrong, you know. Understanding that energetically, this energy center, and of course everything's connected. You know, if you're feeling very tight in the solar plexus, not being able to let go in that area, there's a need to sort of control, to micromanage, to hold off, to hold yourself in. And again, it's understanding, what is your body showing you? What is it communicating in terms of your natural state of being? The safety you feel here in the moment, in your body, in life. The connection you feel to your natural urges and tendencies and likes. And whether you feel safe in that, your authentic expression. Okay? Whether you need to control some part of that expression or suppress it. And understanding there's no judgment. You know, this is something that we get conditioned out of at a very early age. And as adults, and again, you know, we're all having a very unique experience, and not to generalize, but for many of us adults, the priority becomes responsibilities and meeting life's demands and putting pleasure to those 2 weeks a year where you may have a holiday, or the weekend, or maybe a hobby. It's not something we engage with day to day, moment by moment. And it's probably not something that we allow to lead us through life, to guide us through life. Okay? It's work first, pleasure and enjoyment later. And I, for one, am looking at shifting that entirely. And I've created some solid foundations, and I'm accepting the invitation to explore that more and more, and to trust that it's safe to do so, and that there is something within me that is ready to be expressed creatively. Okay? And it's never too late to shift direction, focus, and what you choose to invest your time and energy in. Okay? I've done that several times throughout my life, and it's always led me somewhere interesting, even if it's deeper into the healing journey. But yeah, I felt that was interesting to share and to understand. Again, as we've been tuning in to the body and listening to what it's communicating, to navigate through life, as we understand more and more what it is to be authentic, to show up authentically, and yeah, very much connecting to that second chakra energy of our creative expression, and how we can give that more space, give ourselves more space, give ourselves permission, and be our most enthusiastic cheerleader and fan as we take center stage in our own lives, in the life that each of us is consciously creating. Okay, so food for thought today. Share in the comments below what it was you loved as a kid, and if you're still pursuing that in some way. Okay, I'm going to get the paintbrushes out and see what happens. Slowly, no pressure. It's not going to be a job this time round. It's not going to be something I do seriously. I'm going to see what happens in that space. So thank you as always for being here, and do hit the like button and share, and I look forward to seeing you in the next post.